A third-party tool called FramerAuth now makes it possible to add authentication to your Framer website, which allows you to lock your content to members only. You can create sign up, sign in, forgot password experiences, and so much more. This allows you to create the ultimate freemium experience inside of your Framer site. So if you guys want to learn how to add these features to your website using FramerAuth and Framer, then follow along. If you guys want to grab the remix link, it'll be available down below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Today we'll be creating a member-only website inside of Framer. This is a recreation of Patreon that asks users to become a supporter before being able to access the member-only content. If the user goes and in this case signs up for a free trial, then they will be given a license key, which upon completing their purchase, they can click Activate Account, and that license key will be autofilled for them. They can then click Continue, and then they'll be asked to create their account. Upon creating an account, they'll be signed in, and then now they have access to all of that exclusive member-only content. They can now click into any of those options that they didn't previously have access to. They can explore around, and they also have their own account. You'll see if I sign back out, then I'll be brought back to the home page, and again I'm locked out and everything is asking me to join to unlock. I can then sign back in using the same credentials as I did before, and now I'll have access again just as you expect. After starting your free trial with FramerAuth, you're going to receive an email invitation that will look something like this. And then you can go ahead and click Accept Invite. And this is where we can begin setting up our Framer website inside of FramerAuth. So I'm going to give this a name real quick. I'm going to call it Pattern. That is the name of my website. And we need a few different links that we can get inside of Framer. So go inside of your Framer project, click Publish, and then up here you'll see you have two different domains here. This is the staging URL that Framer provides. So I'm just going to copy this one real quick, and that is where my Framer website link is going to go. My live website is, in your case, probably going to be a .com or where you'll actually publish this. But in my case, I'm not publishing this, so I'll just copy this link right there. So let's click Continue. If you want to charge users to access your content, then you're going to want to continue with Lemon Squeezy. If you just want people to be required to sign up to your website without requiring a purchase, you can click Continue without Lemon Squeezy. In this case, I want to charge users to access my content, so I'm going to click Continue with Lemon Squeezy. And now this is where we can add in our Lemon Squeezy API key. We want to make sure we're in the correct mode when we add our API key. So I'll show you what I mean here. So if you go into your Lemon Squeezy dashboard, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, you have this toggle here for test mode and live mode. This is a brand new store I just created, so I haven't actually activated it yet. So I only have test mode. But in your case, you'll probably have test mode and live mode. So let's start by just adding in our test mode API keys. So I can go to Settings, API, and over here, I'll just add a new API key. So Lemon Squeezy is recommending here that we save this somewhere safe, so you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to click Copy and come back into FramerAuth. Again, you need to make sure that you're in the right mode, otherwise this connection will not be successful. So I'm in test mode. I'm going to paste it and click Test API key. So it looks like everything may have worked nicely. I can see my store here, Pattern. I'm not going to have any products though, because I haven't created one yet. So let's go ahead and create our first product. So I'm going to go into my Lemon Squeezy store, go to Products, and create Product. Let's give it a name just to start. So I will call it Pattern Subscription. And I'm going to come down here and click Add Variant. So the first variant is going to be our annual plan, billed yearly. It is a subscription, $119 per year, and there's some other options here. So I do want to add a free trial in here. I'm going to do 14 days. You do want to turn on license keys. So the activation limit, this is how many people can use the license key. So in this case, I only want one, but if I was selling a team plan, for example, that might be a larger number. I'm going to click Save and go back, and I'm going to add another variant, which is going to be my monthly plan. This one is billed as $19 a month, and it has a 7-day free trial. Has a free trial of 7 days, and I do want license keys again. So now I have my product set up. I have my Patreon subscription, a brief description. I have my variants here. If you want, you can reorder them. And for now, we can just go ahead and click Publish Product. And if I come back into FramerAuth and just click this refresh icon and wait a moment, I now see my product in here. But I can click on that and click Continue. So now my lemon squeezy connection has been made. You'll see right here in the dashboard, we have a few different options right away. I can see my URL here. If I come up here and toggle this, it's going to put me into my live mode. So that means my live website. In this case, it's patteron.framer.website. So let's start off here. We need to add this snippet in our website settings. So I just click copy real quick, come into my website settings, and then I'm going to come down to start of body and paste it right in here. So let's go into our second step. I can collapse this. So right away, I need to add in this sign up / activate license key component. So I will copy that, create a page inside of your Framer project that is called /sign up. In this case, I already have the page, and paste this right inside of here. I can then go ahead and customize it. In my case, I am using license keys because I have added Lemon Squeezy to my FramerAuth account. So the first thing I want to do is actually activate this. And now let's start customizing the styling a little bit. So after someone signs up, I want to redirect them to the home page. My label, I'd like to use my font. So in this case, it's called Honest, Regular. So it might take a little bit longer the first time, but then in the future, all of this can be easily copied over. So now that I have this stylized how I'd like, there's a few other options for this sign up. If I turn off the license key real quick, this allows me to just preview how my first name, email, password fields are looking. And you can customize this as well to turn off this display that shows the rules for the password. I've turned that off here, and then over here I have a few different things that I'm going to bring in here. One of the things that I added is I just took those rules and put them inside of a different container just so I could stylize it a little bit more how I'd like. And I have some other options here like become member and things like that. Update my spacing a little bit. So that's looking pretty good. I like how that's looking. I have my password requirements. I've also added an option if someone's on the sign up page and they want to sign in, I'm linking them to my sign in page. And if they're not a member yet, I'm going to link them to my home page /upgrade. This will allow someone to sign up and gain access. Let's go ahead and add in our sign in form. So I'm going to come back into FramerAuth, copy that sign in form, go into a page called sign in, and just paste it. And you'll see this is going to get a lot easier and quicker now that I've already added the styling. So on Mac, you can press Option Command C. On Windows is Option Control C, and then Option Command V or Option Control V. And that allows me to copy and paste the styling. And just like that, all of the styling that I added to that first form can be easily copy and pasted here. You'll notice that the redirect also got overridden here. In this case, after someone signs in, I do want to take them back to the home page, but you can customize this however you'd like. I also have these additional links over here that I'd like to add. If someone has not signed up yet, they can activate their license by being redirected to the sign up page. And forgot password is what we're going to add next. I'm going to come over here and get my reset password form. So if someone has forgotten their password on your sign-in page, you should link them to the reset password page. So I'll just paste this in here real quick. Click fill. And we're going to copy that styling again. So it's Option Command C, Option Command V. Just making sure, like I said, when you copy and paste, everything gets overridden. So in this case, it changed my button text to say sign up. So you're just going to change this to say send reset email. And the same thing happened over here, sign up on my sign in form. So just change that text, make sure it's correct. Same thing for the next one. We have our update password form. So I'm going to paste this onto my update password page. And this is where someone will actually be taken after they've requested to change their password. They'll receive an email, which will take them here, which allows them to update their password. So one of the other things that got added in here, reset password, I don't want to redirect them. Here as well, I don't want to redirect. And here I can change that button text to say update password. So now my forms are working nicely. Everything has been set up and I have all of the forms that I need. There's one more component that we need to add, which is our auth widget. I'm going to copy this and this is going to be pasted inside of our navigation. So I'll just put it right here. You'll notice some of the styling might be a little wonky at first, but we're going to customize it here in a second. So I'm going to set it to be layout horizontal. And I'm going to remove actually the sign up button. I don't need that. And I don't want the sign in button either. I'm just going to be using overrides for that portion, and I'll show you that in a moment. So all I really want here is this sign out button. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because for FramerAuth to detect if the user is signed in or signed out, we need this component to be visible on every page. And there's also a code override that goes along with it. So I'll show you that here in a moment. But for now, we can just leave this as is. I can customize some of the styling if I'd like. So you can stylize that however you'd like. So the only reason I'm leaving the sign out button here is because we do need it to be present in some way. All right, so next up, let's get our overrides. So I'm going to come down here and copy our override file. We can come back into FramerAuth and we're just going to go to assets, come down here to code. We're going to create a new one. We'll just call it FramerAuth 2 because I've already added this one at one point. So I now have my override file. I'll press Command A to select everything, backspace, and now we're just going to paste in that file here. Okay. So now we're going to go back to our auth widget, and this is the most important override we need to add. So we'll go to FramerAuth, and we just need to connect with auth to this widget here. So now that we've completed that step, everything is set up and FramerAuth should be working right away. All of the required steps have been completed and our website should be working. And now that we've done all of the setup, we can go ahead and start locking our pages. So I'll go ahead and sync my pages real quick. You can see I have all the different pages on my website. And now I want to select my posts content and start locking it. So I've just come in here and quickly locked them. By locking them, that actually makes it available to all of my tiers as long as someone has made a purchase. So in this case, if I wanted to, I could override some of this. So if it was only available to monthly subscribers, for example, I can select that here, and then that is the only plan that will have access to this page. But in this case, I have locked my pages, and just like that, all of my content has been locked. I'm just going to go in and start testing this real quick and see if everything is actually working as expected. So by default, what FramerAuth is going to do, if I come in here Since I've defined this page as locked content, by default, I'm going to be taken to access denied, which is not a page that we've defined yet in this tutorial. So you'll see that anytime I click on content I don't have access to because I haven't purchased, I will be taken to access denied. So there's two things that you can do. You can either come into pages and create a new page called access denied, and you can stylize that however you'd like. You can add your upgrade options there, your sign up modal, whatever you'd like. Or another option is to redirect your users somewhere else or somewhere that you've already defined. So in this case, I'd like for when someone clicks on my locked content to be scrolled up to this section where they can become a supporter and upgrade. So in order to do this, we're going to use an override called with variant, and I'll show you how to do it real quick. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to turn it into a component. The way it works is the first one is going to be your default, and then you create a locked variant. So I'm going to create a new one, call it locked. Here, I don't want this to be visible. I'll come back in here. I do want it to be visible here in my locked version, which is telling people to join to unlock. And we want to create different redirect links. So we want to create one, we'll just call it default, and then we want to create another one for our link, and we'll call it locked. So in our locked, this is where we're going to send people to that redirect where they can upgrade, and then the unlocked version is just going to take them straight to the content. Since I'm using a scroll section here, there's one other thing that you might want to do, which is set the scroll to be smooth. So now that you've defined those two variables, you've designed these as you'd like. So in this case, I just want to have this option here that says join to unlock. I'm going to come back here, and now by default, I'm taking users to the slug page, and for my locked users, I'm going to take them to home, upgrade. Okay, so now by default, what you're going to want to do is set all of the variants to be your locked version, and then when we apply with variant here, what this is going to do is it will by default show your locked version, and then when someone has signed in, it's going to change the variant to the other one. So you shouldn't have more than two variants for this. I'm just going to rename this one to be default to make it more clear. But by default, set it to the locked version. You should only have two variants, and then this override is going to change it to the unlocked version once someone has signed in. So now that we've completed the required steps, there's a couple additional options that we may want. The first one is the ability to conditionally show and hide different frames inside of our Framer project. And the first thing that I want to conditionally show or hide is this support us section. So I have this entire upgrade section that's asking someone to become a supporter. If someone has already signed up, I don't want to show this to them anymore. So I'm going to come down here in my FramerAuth file. You'll see an override that says with logged out or with logged in. With logged out means that users who are logged out will see it, but users who are logged in will not. With logged out for this means that anyone who logged out, they will see this content. So this is a perfect use case. So that means no one's going to see it once they've already signed up. If there's anything that you want to show to someone specifically that is signed in, you can do that as well using with logged in. The other overrides that we wanted to connect as well was the sign in. We want this to be shown to people who are logged out. So I'm going to use the same overrides we used before. We're going to use with logged out. So logged out users will see the sign in button. Logged in users will not. If someone is signed out as well, we want to show them this option. Now, if someone is signed in, we want to show them the My Account button, but only users who are signed in. So this is where the with logged in override can be used. The next thing that I want to add is the ability to autofill license keys for users. So this means after someone has purchased my product through Lemon Squeezy, they don't need to copy and paste the license key. We will actually just autofill it for the user. So what we're gonna do is come back into Lemon Squeezy, come down here to confirmation modal, and you'll see here on the button link, we have a URL. I'm just going to paste what FramerAuth has provided to me, and all I need to do is customize this link here. So this is my link here, paste it in there. I can get rid of the .com portion. So small error here, we just want to remove this beginning portion of this because they've added the HTTPS for us. I'm just going to write here, activate account or activate license, whatever you'd like. So now that we've completed that other nice to have additional, the last thing that we might want to do is adding a little bit of a user account in here. So in order to do this, the first thing we want to do is get our link that allows someone to manage their subscription. So inside of Lemon Squeezy, you're going to go over to Design and click Customer Portal. And this is the link that we're going to use. So basically what this allows someone to do is after they've purchased your product, or if they're on an active subscription, they can go here and it allows them to upgrade, downgrade, cancel their subscription, change their payment method, and all that good stuff for managing their subscription. So let's go back into our account inside of Framer, and I'm just going to add a button real quick, and I'm going to write manage subscription, and I want to link to that link that we just copied there. So when someone clicks this in their account, it will take them there and they can manage their subscription that they have with my product. The other things that I wanted to show just to make it slightly more personalized is the member name and the member email address. These are some overrides. So I'm just going to come down here into the file here and use with first name here and with last or with email address for the next one. Okay, so now everything there is working nicely. The only other thing that I want to do is actually connect the link to my product that I have here. So let's make sure that we're adding those correctly. So my annual plan is selected, so I'm going to add this to the annual one. I'm going to paste that link. And for my plan 1, I have this link here. So by default, I have my annual plan selected. So everything should be connected and working nicely now. So I'm now in the website, previewing it. It's asking me to upgrade, and I can see all of my content here is locked. If I click on any of the locked content, it has a very nice user experience. It just brings me up here and says, become a supporter to unlock this content. So let's go ahead and follow that path. Let's click try for free, and we're going to sign up for an account using the test account. So using test credentials here. So when I click start trial, I'm now going to be given the modal, which has the button configured as we did before, which is going to ask me to activate my account. And then when I click it, it takes me straight back to my website on the sign up form, and the license key is already added in here for me. It's been pre-filled. So if I click continue, so I've now been signed in. I now have an account. So if I scroll down here, now I'll actually be able to access the content. I'm not seeing those lock icons, or I'm not seeing the upgrade section here anymore. So it's a very smooth user experience. I can click into any of this content and I now have access to it, which is quite nice. And if I go to my account, you'll see it's got my name here. It's got my email address. And if I click manage subscription, it's going to bring me into that billing page. And that about does it, guys. You should now have all of the integrated membership features added to your Framer website. You're free to customize it however you'd like, make it your own experience. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or need help, feel free to reach out on Twitter. And until next time.